Natalie Malgas, who's at the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon, where 2 winners have already crossed the finish line. Natalie joins us now live from that place. And in fact, Natalie, there was a brief kind of media briefing a short while ago. Take us through what came out of that.
Well, the winners have already come in, Ayanda. In fact, those who want to clock this marathon in under 4 hours have also come in. We heard from the podium finishers in the wheelchair division. This was the first year that that division was included in the Cape Town Marathon. This as the marathon bids for a major league spot, along with some of the other races: London, Boston, Berlin, Tokyo, and Chicago. This was one of those prerequisites to have a wheelchair division. Just listening to some of those elite athletes, they said not only was this one of the smoothest, with 1 or 2 niggles, the hills and the inclines were a little difficult, especially around the 28-kilometer mark, but for the most part, this was one of the most beautiful and smoothest courses they've ever encountered. Just listening to the winners and the podium finishers from the wheelchair division, there was really quite inspiring. We had a participant from, in fact, the winner of the wheelchair division was from the US, Erin Pike, and the winner from the women's, Vanessa D'Souza, was from Brazil. So there are a great deal of participants from outside of South Africa who look to this race as one that they would like to participate in. Right now, behind me, I've got finishers who all clocked this marathon in under 4 hours. My first guest is a soldier. Sir, you're no stranger to marathons. You've completed quite a few. In fact, please give us a twirl. We want to show off you're a several times Comrades marathon runner. You've done several others. Soldier, please tell us, this was your first Cape Town marathon. How was it?
It was quite an experience. For the very first time doing the Cape Town marathon, wow, it was amazing and overwhelming, I must say.
What was your favorite part? What is the most memorable to you?
When you get to between the 25 to 30 kilometer mark, wow, that was very humbling. Those hills, nobody warned us about it. We thought it's going to be wow, but when you get there, wow. But we managed to average it and try to maintain it so that we say, no, let's try to push. As long as we can get it under 4, wow, the timing it will be perfect. Even though the plan was to do it on the 3:15, but unfortunately we couldn't. But nonetheless, under 4 hours is good time.
Congrats. Thank you so much to the soldier, to someone who is certainly not a stranger to these road races or to Cape Town. We've got a parliamentarian with us, Ayanda. How was the route for you, sir? You would have known and been familiar with the distance?
Well, look, for Cape Town Marathon to be the major race, I think it's brilliant. As you mentioned earlier, you're talking about the 6 major marathons in America. There's New York, Chicago, Boston, and then you got in Europe, you got Berlin, and then you got London, and you got in Asia, you have Tokyo. So actually in Africa we have nothing. So I think Cape Town Marathon, he deserved to be part of the major ones, because in 2016 I did Chicago Marathon. It was a nice course, but surrounding the city of Chicago. And in Europe I did Barcelona, and I did quite a few marathons, and I did a few in North Africa and so. But the Cape Town marathons, I did so many of them. My record on Cape Town Marathon is 2 hours 47. But now I'm only doing a pacing as a pace sitter, member of the Western Province Pace Sitters. But I think, I will vote for Cape Town to be a part of the major marathons, because I heard in the news that is China and Australia, they're trying to beat Cape Town Marathon to be also part of the majors. But I think Africa, they deserve, and Cape Town as a mother city deserve to be part of the majors.
Thank you, sir. Africa indeed deserves. Africa is also very well represented. There are at least 85 participants in this marathon, Ayanda, from Botswana. Trevor, you've come all the way from Bots. How was your race?
My race was great. I had a beautiful race, even though I had a tired to chase a sub-3. Unfortunately, the changes that they've made to the route, especially in the last half of the route, meant that my plan was out of the window. But otherwise, the race was beautiful. It is probably by far one of the well-organized marathons in Africa. My last time here in 2018 was 3 hours 53, but the route then was flatter. Unfortunately, the changes to the route profile have made it now tougher from your 26 up to 30-second kilometers. That's what everybody is complaining about. We hope that does not affect the candidacy for the Abboud World Major marathons. If maybe that's one of the requirements, but otherwise, one of the best organized marathons. And I'm happy that as a country from Botswana, we manage to every year send even more higher numbers to marathons in South Africa. But without a doubt, it qualifies to be one of amongst the Abboud World Majors. It's one of the best organized marathons. So we are happy for the catering along the route. 3 kilometers in the first half, then 2.5 kilometers. That is well standard. So for that, we appreciate the Cape Town Sanlam Marathon.
Trevor, you also mentioned that this was your personal best. I must warn you, you're lucky I didn't participate this year. I would have beaten you. But how are you feeling about your personal best?
I'm happy for my personal best. You know, you come here chasing a target, but one thing about a runner, what you must understand is that if you don't know the route, if the route profile is new like this one, you need to be experienced enough to know that you have to adjust your target during the race. You shouldn't necessarily give up. You have to know that either way I have to push. If you get a personal best, well and good. So you just need to know that whatever happens, if the route is new to you, you have to be able to adjust your strategy accordingly and push all the way to the finish. Because we come here, ultimately, the aim is to finish. For every runner, the aim is to finish intact. Right now, I've finished intact, no injury, no muscle cramps. I'm happy that I managed to get a personal best.
Congratulations, Trevor. So I do have to chat with you too. I understand this was your first Cape Town marathon, but you're no stranger to marathons. You also just completed a Comrades. What was your strategy?
Well, I came here, I was tempted by Trevor anyway. He said we should come try the sub 3. So I said, let me go run with Trevor and see what we get. But at about 25, 28, I realized, let's just enjoy this thing and then see what Cape Town has to offer. And I started social cohesion. So I'm happy I finished. And it was a nice race. Nutrition stations, well organized. There were even dancing clubs. You know, the Cape Town minstrels, man, one could not survive that entertainment. You just had to give back. When the guys are there cheering us up, we had to give back by joining them in the dance.
As marathon runners, where do you have to go mentally? Because it's not all about the legs and the stamina. You have to be in a particular place mentally to make this race, to complete this race. Where are you going? What is motivating you?
Look, in all that we do, I believe that when you enter a race, the most important thing is to start and finish. And how you finish is important. So those are some of the things. So once you get into a race, you lock your mind to say, I have started. I must just now look for the finish point. Yes, we do come with targets in mind, but sometimes, as Trevor was saying, sometimes as you go in the race, you realize that, look, I think it's fun, it's nice, I can push a bit, or it's a bit tough. Why not hold back so that I can be able to finish? But in all this, we are doing it to the glory of the Lord.
And will you be back next year?
Depending on the temptation.
Most importantly, it was his 50th birthday this year. So
it is
on
the 14th of November.
His aim was to get a sub 3. So I felt bad that when he came to Gaborone in June, we couldn't get a sub 3. He did a 307 and 315. So that's why I pushed him. Let's go try it and get a nice birthday celebration there. But either way, we conquered, and happy birthday in advance then.
Thank you.
Happy birthday in advance. Great job, sir. Sir, you literally just crossed the finish line. A SAPS member. How are you feeling about your run?
Hey, sir. Really, that one is a little bit tougher for me. Hey, but at least for next year, I'm going to improve it.
What was your time this year?
Last year.
Now.
Oh, this one is 4:04. 4:04.
Great job, and thank you for your service. We appreciate it, sir. Before we head back to the studio, how are you feeling about your race today?
Sure, I'm feeling very good. I'm very good all the way from Eastern Cape. I love Cape Town. Sure, what a great race. All I want to say is to the youth of South Africa, come keep running and let's respect each other and respect our parents.
Thank you so much, Ayanda. To the youth of South Africa, keep running. This is a race vying for a major title. And as you heard from the runners, Cape Town certainly has what it takes, Ayanda.
Absolutely. Such good vibes, so say the youth. Thanks very much indeed for that. Natalie Malgas live to us there from the Western Cape, in Cape Town to be more specific. And we'll keep watching that marathon as it reaches the home stretch. Once again, Natalie, thanks very much indeed.